But enough of this palaver. Let's get the show on the road.
You're kidding.
No, I'm not kidding.
I haven't.
Jesus.
We like to
Come in the middle of a conversation.
Well, we like
when
to throw the gossip ball around a little bit before the show.
Throw it around.
We like to throw it around like the ladies do.
Right, down the hall. The girls, the chicks.
No, I'm a fan of Art Bell, and I guess he's leaving Sirius XM already. He's had it.
And my question was, didn't he just get here?
Yes.
And the answer is yes.
He got here September, I want to say like September 16th, middle of September, whatever.
Yeah.
And he's had it. He's leaving.
What, are aliens taking him away? Is that what it is?
No.
No?
He's very frustrated by the technology around here. You know?
Really?
And we're mentioned in the article, as well as Howard and Jay Thomas, all having similar complaints about Sirius XM.
Wow.
Yeah, Art Bell leaves Sirius XM.
I was just listening to him this morning. I love Art Bell. Now, I didn't even listen to him ever before, and he's already leaving?
Well, Art Bell, the radio icon that joined Sirius XM's lineup on September 16th,
Oh, no.
is leaving the air after just a month and a half. While passionate satellite radio fans may not want to hear it, his reasons for leaving boil down to three main things. And these are the points we have been making for years.
Okay, let's see what Art says.
SiriusXM's web player is notoriously unreliable, causing a loss of subscribers and a degraded listening experience for those who remain listening online.
I don't know what he's talking about. That's crazy.
Basically, the online listening is a nightmare. We get complaints every single day about that.
Every day.
Every single day we get complaints about that. Where I don't even pass them along to those, can't say idiots anymore. Cause,
that's right. The idiots down the hall. Remember them?
Yeah, I can't really call them idiots. Because we have, Tim Sabian is trying to... Well, Tim Sabian's still collecting info, but eventually he's going to start working for the channel.
Is he still collating?
He's still collecting.
He's collating information.
He's having individual meetings with the entire staff, including Club Soda Kenny. Everyone gets about an hour with Tim Sabian.
Exactly.
And he's gathering. He's gathering info.
He doesn't strike me as an idiot.
And eventually he's going to get on it and make this channel way better.
Yeah.
But just having him aboard has made the show a lot better because we feel like we're in good hands.
Well, I like the fact that we don't have to deal with the idiots down the hall.
No.
That to me is such a plus.
How nice is it to just wave, go, hi,
dude,
how are you?
How great has it been since they have just had nothing to do with this show?
Because I'm a motherfucker. Some would call me a psycho. But, when it's over, it's over.
Right.
Like, I have nothing bad to say about Gary and Steve and remember the Rob Cross guy? I guess he's not here anymore.
Which one was he?
I have not seen him since the change.
E-Rock, comment?
Rob stops by once in a while. He's still very friendly with everybody.
Oh, that's nice.
Now that there's no management role between him and us, so he's very cool. He comes and he hangs out. Everyone else doesn't even acknowledge when we say
it's
hi
like
in the
chick
hallway.
with the tumultuous relationship, and then all of a sudden you break up, but you still see each other, and then it's just like that weight is off your shoulder. It's like, I don't have to deal with this anymore, so it's fine.
But Gary avoids us at all costs. I've seen him once since the change, I think. Maybe twice. But, hi, Gary. How are you?
And it doesn't even matter.
I'm not going to kick him anymore.
Not seeing them outside,
right?
Like vultures on the branch of a dying tree, outside that door when we leave here every day. It's so special to me.
I think it really proves they really didn't want anything to do with us.
Nothing.
Because don't you think after the management change, if they were really into the radio show and what we're doing, they would have said something since. Like, I know I'm not involved anymore, but I just want to tell you, when you guys were talking about that thing or whatever.
They don't even know we're still on the platform.
You think,
they still work here? What?
You think we're off there? You think we're off their presets?
Yeah. the Opie and Andy show?
Right.
Was that them?
Yeah, they're having this conversation with each other. Isn't it nice to see those two assholes walk up the hall and go,
I'm so fine with that.
I'm not thinking this is one-sided. They're freaking having a blast.
Oh, there's
talking about
zippity
us.
doo-dying out this door every fucking day.
Right.
They have nothing to do with this show anymore.
Probably discussing, my blood pressure has dropped drastically. My high blood pressure seems to have gone away since leaving that show.
My wife says I look younger.
Right.
Asked if I changed my hair.
I think I got a hint of a hair follicle since leaving that channel. I do believe there's a possibility I might get a few extra hairs out of it.
Yeah, he's got a full head of hair now.
He's got a Charlie Brown thing happening. A couple have sprouted out of his head.
Jesus.
Anyway, so Art Bell supposedly is leaving.
All right, you didn't like the app. 3
main reasons. SiriusXM's web player is notoriously unreliable. I don't understand why this is still an issue.
It's run by the the Affordable Healthcare Act website.
I could easily go and look back on my Twitter from yesterday, and I'm sure there's a few complaints from yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure. So he's like frustrated by that. Then he says, for a caller-driven show, the caller pool for Art Show is just too small. We have run into that.
We knew that when we first started here. Now, coming from NEW,
right?
We had fucking thousands of callers. It was at any given moment, lines full.
Remember when our show started at 3, the phones were already lit with a whole bunch of things people want to talk about.
Yes.
I think it's just different. I do think it's probably a smaller audience than our NEW heyday, although now it's spread out across the entire country, which we didn't have in the past. But, I mean, when we get on a kind of a hot topic, then the phones definitely light up.
Yeah.
They're there. But in general, they're not there just... wanting to shoot the shit. But I don't think people use the phone in the same way
the same way they used to. And Art Bell, I think, especially if you're just moving over here, it takes a while to cultivate an audience, and especially one that's going to be proactive and call you.
In the middle of the night.
In the middle of the night, right. And he is a very, caller-based kind of, interaction with the audience guy.
I swear to you at this point, and maybe you could back me up, I think I make one phone call a week, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not. I think that's about it. Every once in a while, I gotta check in, make sure everything's cool at home, and that's about it. Everything else is just text messages to people.
I was on the phone yesterday, and it was with Verizon, so you got to sit there and hold for a little while and stuff.
Right.
3 times during the call, when I was on hold, and this is no bullshit. 3 times during the call, I went to look for my phone to look at Twitter and stuff.
Oh, really?
It's at my ear. It was at my ear.
Oh, that's hilarious.
But I was looking like, I'm on hold. I need something to do. Where's my phone? It's on my ear. And like 5 minutes later, like, where's my phone? It's like clicking on the light switch when the lights are out, when you have no power.
Right.
It's this just a habit now. But you're not used to making phone calls anymore.
I mean, looking back a bunch of years ago, could you imagine that we'd have this amazing technology where you could just tap in a few numbers and then you could talk to someone wherever the fuck they are in the country. But then you move forward and go, you know what? That's dumb.
I don't want that.
I got a right to them.
I need to just send them words.
That's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
So for a caller-driven show, the caller pool of Art's show is just too small. And then it says international listeners have no legitimate way to hear the show.
International listeners.
Yeah, because satellite doesn't really go overseas. We have quite the audience overseas.
Now,
but they have found other ways to get the show. And that would happen with him, but it takes
eventually
takes a little time for the boys to set up shop.
How was he getting an international audience before?
I don't know.
Iraq, student of radio.
He probably had the BBC.
Yeah, BBC.
A lot of the stations that he was on were streaming online.
Okay,
that you could get through.
All right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay,
but you can't
like subscribe over in fucking Ireland. But if he just had a website that way, all right, I'm in.
Well, I mean, technically, if you had a login, you could work around but not a legitimate way.
Right. Oh God, De Blasio's marching around with his Afro kid today.
With his fucking big-headed.
Here, let me finish
kid.
this. Then we get into De Blasio. We're about to get a shitty mayor here in New York City.
Enjoy New York.
A shitty mayor. And we made fun of Bloomberg. My God, I wish Bloomberg was around for another 4 years.
It's going to be Snake Plissken City.
Right. The departure of Art Bell, as unfortunate as it is, should be a signal to SiriusXM. This is one of these I told you so moments that's about to be
Who wrote
said
this,
here.
by the way?
It's on his website.
Oh, did he write it?
No, I guess Sirius Buzz, which kind of writes about satellite radio,
you. Yep.
or now just SiriusXM. I think they used to write for for both stuff about both companies. The company has a compelling product, great content, and great potential.
That sounds good.
I absolutely agree with that.
Oh, that sounds very nice.
But in some ways has lost the edge that it once had. I've said that. You've said that as well.
Exactly.
We had a huge lead over all the other, I can't even call them competitors.
All the other entertainment options that are out there, yeah.
See, the frustrations of Bell can be heard on other channels as well. Opie and Anthony, Howard Stern, Jay Thomas, and others have all, at times, expressed a great deal of frustration. In some ways, the complaints of on-air personalities ring back to the old FM days of terrestrial radio, a path that many consumers and on-air personalities could not wait to get away from.
True that.
Yeah, I believe SiriusXM had a huge lead.
Yeah.
And now, everyone's kind of catching up. And we bitch and complain about the web player, and it's still not, I want to say perfect. I guess it's never going to be perfect, but it's still not efficient.
Yeah. You know what, though? Art's got to, it's a fucking month. I mean, I think he should give it a little time and be resourceful, try to find some workarounds like we have.
Right.
There's things you can do to boost your audience and shit like that. You're in a new. If he went to another FM station, it takes time to build an audience and have them find out where you are and stuff.
Yeah.
Why so quickly? I understand being frustrated and stuff, but how about bitching at him and stuff? A month doesn't even give you time to fucking get through any corporate smokescreen.
Are you actually asking why? Have you ever heard Art Bell?
All right.
His brain works a little differently.
It doesn't think like
ours.
Normal people.
Okay. But isn't he under contract? So what is he talking about?
That's what I'm thinking. Maybe all this shit that he's pouring out there is some kind of breach of contract thingy.
Right.
He retired in 2003, and like you said, he's been back for a month and a half. The reason the caller pool is small is because he hasn't built a show.
That's true. You got to really kind of build up a fucking audience.
All right, so that's going on. I hope Art Bell stays because I love Art Bell.
Yeah, he's a weirdo.
I used to listen to him a lot back in the day. Not so much, since September.
Yeah.
Actually, I gotta admit, I have not heard him since he came to SiriusXM. So.
Yeah, I haven't either.
I listen to him when I'm driving in.
Yeah.
Oh, do you?
What was he talking about today?
He's talking about how his hobby. He had the caller on the phone because he keeps the one guest on the phone for the whole 2 or 3 hour show.
What?
And then he takes callers to call in and talk to him. But this one guy had evidence that humanity started on Mars.
Okay, sure.
So that was the whole gist.
That's believable.
Yeah.
All right.
The human race actually started on Mars.
Yeah, I don't think we're from here. I just don't think humans are from here.
I happen to think that the solar system, you got kind of, Earth right now.
Yeah.
And I think the planets like they trade off. Like Mars was the big wig of the solar system.
They were the rock star for a long time.
They were the ones with the life and the fucking everything like that.
They were like the Led Zeppelin.
Right. And then as things change with the sun maybe and other things, the different planets, gravitational pull, this, that, the other thing, life on Mars kind of dwindled away, and then life on Earth starts up. Right. And then before you know it, maybe fucking Venus will get it, or fucking Saturn or some shit.
And the Mars people, they had the technology, and they did a little skipperoo.
Right.
I was reading yesterday, there's like billions of planets just like Earth.
They're
starting to figure out. I forgot the exact number, but it was in the billions.
Land, water, there are atmosphere.
Billions of planets out there that are just like Earth.
Yeah.
Of course there's life out there.
There's got to be something crawling around.
See, we don't need Neil deGrasse.
Oh.
We could use our own brains. There's life out there. It's obvious.
It's got to be. Come on.
And the Greys, that's what they call the aliens. The Greys.
The Greys.
They've been, kind of with us ever since we started recording time.
That alien look is silly.
The Greys.
The Greys. And if you think about them in, spaceships, in flying saucers, or what we typically think of some extraterrestrial ship.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Their body type, their big long fingers aren't conducive to buttons and switches and things.
They all got to duck their heads.
Yeah, we put these aliens with different body types and appendages into these machines that we would be familiar and be able to work in.
And if you're so advanced technologically, why would you make yourself look so damn ugly?
What do you think, they should gussy themselves up?
I don't know, pick your favorite broad, and all the Greys look like that broad, and pick your favorite dude out there for the people that are into that.
And why don't some have beards or makeup or fucking like different hairstyles? They all look exactly the same.
Exactly the same.
Yeah.
There's more to this art thing than the article.
Oh, a conspiracy.
All right, let's go to Patrick, who's a fan of Art Bell. He probably knows more. Go ahead, Patrick.
Why don't you call him, you fucking idiot?
Really.
You're the reason he's leaving. Give the poor sap a phone call.
Holy shit.
About this on the show.
Right.
But George Norrie from Coast to Coast, which was part of that Clear Channel block that just left XM also.
Wow.
Art Bell's been talking. George Norrie told a lot of the guests, which they share between the two shows, that if they go on Art Bell's show, they can no longer be on Coast to Coast. So Art Bell's been losing all of his guests because obviously Coast to Coast was a bigger show, and those guests, they're have a small niche anyway, so they don't want to leave the George Norrie Coast to Coast show, so they've been leaving Art Bell, and he's been having a hard time getting guests.
Well, he's got to give it a little time.
Should get Roland.
Right.
I agree.
What's Coast to Coast, by the way?
That's Art Bell's old show that now the other dude hosts.
Oh, so they just replaced Art Bell?
Yeah, they just put in another idiot.
Another idiot.
All right.
That statement has plenty of implications.
I don't know, something with the Greys.
Yeah.
A.K.A. aliens. Yeah, they find them on, like, cave walls and stuff.
Yeah. Do they really, or is it like those things? Because I've seen those too. Remember the Ancient Astronauts movie that came out?
Yeah.
Chariots of the Gods years ago. And they're like, here is paintings on a cave wall that obviously shows a man in a spaceship. And it's like, it could be some guy sitting on a log.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're all very...
well, why can't it just be their imagination? Like, they're bored in a cave, and they're like, you know what?
Yeah.
We could think up some shit here.
Yeah, they like
to make our day go by a little faster.
Right. Well, we're not drawing fucking like saber-toothed tigers when we're hunting that. Right. I'll draw something like we're flying.
Right. Look, you could just.
I want to fly like a bird.
I don't know. You could draw like a weird head. Look, I'm doing it right now. Look. Some weird, really long, squiggly arms.
Oh, that's proof of ancient aliens there.
If that was on a fucking cave wall, you would go, obviously aliens were walking around.
Proof right there.
See?
Ancient aliens.
Here, put this on a wall. I want this to be found someday. Yeah, why couldn't they just have imaginations? Let's pump this shit up.
No, it always comes back.
Why did it have to be everything
aliens.
that was perfectly happening at that time?
Very literal.
Instead of people maybe fucking around and going, let's make our life experience a little more interesting.
Yeah, hieroglyphics can never just be some fucking Egyptian's version of a comic strip.
Yeah, some goofball going.
Something that.
Yeah, I want to fucking write some fantasy here on this wall.
Yeah, some fan fiction.
Some fan fiction.
Like E-Rock.
Right.
Art,
what?
The reason that he quit was because he said...
Did he officially quit?
Yeah, it said, this is his quote.
Then what were you listening to, an old show?
Yeah, they're replaying his show.
Oh. They got 20 of them in the can.
Exactly. He goes, I started the show with the expectation that my listeners would be able to stream the show since they were coming from AM. And then he said they started the 30-day trial and found out it was dropping out on them every few minutes. After the 30-day trial, most did not renew. Why would they? Faced with paying $180 a year for something that was not working right, what would you do? So I lost my base. My show is based on call-in. If all I am left with is truck drivers, love them, but their cell connections are not good. With cell phones going down the road at 70 miles per hour, well, you get the idea.
Good point.
And then he says, so I asked Sirius to allow free streaming for a year until they could fix their problems, and they said no. The show was simply not viable under these conditions.
Wow.
So he left.
So he's like, yeah, you have to offer your subscription service for free or I'm gone.
Wow, yeah.
So He's looking for a listener that has a hard line at home.
Yes.
So the signal doesn't drop out.
He wants old school telephones.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then he's acting like his conditions. Like, yes, I want you to make this viable for. Oh, like they used to get calls from all these women who are like, I just hooked it up at my 97-year-old mother's house the other day.
Right.
They all bought all their equipment and year-long subscriptions and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And he's just like, well, until you can offer it for free,
Can't have this.
Right.
You know what? You know what's great? It's very reminiscent, though, when you read that. Remember when we first started on satellite? It was the only calls you got were from truck drivers. The only calls.
Yep.
Everyone was a truck driver.
Well, they were incredibly dedicated to this service.
Very dedicated. They were really the first ones that got it because they're driving cross country. They don't like having to retune in their radio every few miles. So satellite's a very good option for the truck drivers. But that's the only people that had it back then.
Mm-hmm. I totally get that because when we were off the air for the 2+ years, I did a lot of just driving around. It was perfect.
Yeah, shit.
It's like, holy shit. Wait, I can listen to this show from here to Florida, which I did. I did that drive a couple times.
But they're the first people. They're the first people that are going to sample a new show or stuff like that. So they're the first people that are going to be calling in.
And then they share the info with each other, too.
Cell phone going down the road at 70 miles. That conjures up a great image.
It's kind of where we are right now in our civilization.
Yeah.
How do you just make it work?
How do you guys feel your show was on XM a month and a half into your contract?
We were miserable.
Oh, yeah.
You should have walked?
It was...
we had no choice.
That's true.
We were miserable. We were talking to nobody.
Yeah, that was
because
real
we were on a premium top of it.
Yeah.
I remember they had a big cardboard cutout announcing that they had 2 million subscribers, I think. Was it 2 million?
Over the entire platform.
Over the entire platform. And then you do the math and go, fuck, if we even have 10% of that, which we didn't.
We didn't even have that. It was
would be 200,000 listeners. And there was no way we had anywhere near that.
We were told, like, we got 20,000 subscribers.
Oh, that's what it was.
And it's like, God.
That's right. We were on the premium channel, so they would give us numbers and go, good news, 20,000 people have signed up for your channel.
And that's people that signed up. They're never all listening at once.
Right.
So, I mean, we were talking to nobody.
A few thousand, probably.
Yeah.
And then Eric Logan, thank God he came around and showed Hugh Pinero the way. Thank God.
Yeah.
He's like, this is ridiculous. You got to open these guys up to everybody.
I'm hearing from a lot of people that are saying they can't get us anymore on the new radios in the new car, and I don't know what that's all about.
I don't think that's true. I think in the new cars, they just have to get the package. So it's a Sirius radio in the car.
Right.
If you call up and get the best of XM package.
Yeah, but that's the other point I've been making for a long time. And actually, I told Sabian, and he's like, well, that's crazy. And supposedly he's going to get that done, too. I told him to his face, I'm like, I wish you nothing but the best. And obviously, me and Ant respect you, and we've done good things with you in the past. But I told him, I don't believe anything you're saying. And I go, it has nothing to do with you. It's just like we've been told so many different things over the years. It's really hard to believe anybody around here.
Yeah.
But my point to him was, look, you got to make this shit easy for the people. They don't understand. They have a car with an XM unit.
Yeah.
To the company, it's everything. But to them, if they go and get a car that has Sirius, they just think that they can't get our channel. They don't understand these best of packages and all that shit.
Yeah. I don't even understand, and I work here.
Right.
So you think they're going to E-Rock comment?
They don't tell you when you buy the new car about the packages.
Right.
My brother got a new car with the Sirius unit in there, and he didn't know to switch over.
Of course no one knows that. They just assume, I got my satellite radio in my car. Great. All right, let me tune into
where are they?
My Opie and Anthony.
Yeah.
And it's not there, so then they're like, my new car doesn't get it.
Yeah,
That's where that stuff's coming from. The subscribers are not educated enough to understand all this stuff.
They're so stupid.
And the one thing you learn about business, you got to make it extremely easy, or you're going to lose customers.
And that's what's happening.
As I told Sabian, could you at least get us on the same channel on both units?
Yeah.
And he couldn't believe it. He's like, wait, that's not the case, right? I'm like, no. And they switched the channels around recently, and those guys down the hall thought it'd make perfect sense to have us on. Is it 105 now?
No.
103.
Yes.
All right. I'm not even joking. I'm really not even joking.
For which platform?
103 is XM.
Yes.
And 206?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
but see, I said 105, and I really meant it. I really meant it.
It's easier to remember now because you just double one.
Right, 103 is 206 if you double
Just
it.
fun.
I told Blatter and I
it's
told
fun.
Greenstein, I'm like, look, you're now moving channels around.
That.
Why don't you just make it easy? Have us on the same one. You own the company. You can do that.
Oh, we can't. For some reason. Well, we can't do that.
So I don't know.
The Sirius technology, we were able to do that, but the XM is weird.
Man, I would just make it extremely easy. Just really, really easy.
Yeah.
And upgrade the web player. And then,
Oh, the web player. That fucking
where
web
it times
player.
out because it assumes you're not listening anymore.
Is that what?
No, when you're listening to a talk show, it's kind of there all day.
Yeah, when you have that kind of a show on there. Yes, E-Rock.
You know how they promote the music channels where you can have it on your house for parties or like the holiday channels?
Yeah.
It's exactly what Ope said. So you put it on like, oh, this is great. It's good. 20 minutes, all of a sudden, all of it goes off and it says, are you still there? So you have to go running back to the computer.
I've done
to hit
this.
okay.
I've done this at my house. I put on Sirius at my house downstairs from playing poker or whatever.
Yeah.
And I've had to stop and put on like Pandora or something because it'll just stop.
Every 20 minutes.
Like what the fuck is that about?
It's the only radio that assumes you're not listening.
Yeah, you have to be active and fucking.
Yeah, you got to have a little more confidence.
It's like the hatch in Lost. You got to punch in the numbers.
Our product that we're asking you to pay monthly for is so good that we assume you don't listen.
No, as a company, you got to have more confidence and just assume they might be listening.
We can't
You sure
afford
you're
to-
listening?
We can't afford to sacrifice that kind of bandwidth if we don't know you're listening. It could be best used to somebody that's actually changing the stations every 10 minutes.
Like Netflix allows you at least 3 episodes automatically before it says, are you still watching this? You click OK, and then it goes another 4.
Yeah.
A little pop-up comes up. You're not still listening, are you?
Yeah.
Can't possibly.
You can't possibly be.
Switch to something else by now, right?
Have confidence in your product. Yeah,
Right.
they're listening.
They pay
Relax.
for it.
Right.
Shit.
So,
Art Bell, by the way, I'm looking at his Twitter. He was only here a month and a half. He already was tweeting about shows he was missing. Like he was already taking shows off.
Really?
One show he took off because he said the studio in D.C. was down, so no phone lines, no show.
He just said, fuck that. I ain't doing a show.
that's great.
And then like a week ago, he tweeted, there will be no show tonight. My back locked up, and I hit the floor like a sack of wet cement.
Exact clock. Well, he can't blame Sirius for that.
Wait, what happened?
His back locked up, so he canceled the show.
Oh, man, I'm adding that to my excuse.
That is a good one. Hey, my back locked up.
Right.
I back
gonna be
this
in.
morning.
That's beautiful.
All right, well, that sucked. To hear the Opie and Anthony Show 5 days a week live on satellite radio, online on your phone or tablet, or even on demand, go to SiriusXM.com. Also, interact with the Opie and Anthony Show on Twitter, @Opie Radio, @Anthony Cumia, and @Jim Norton.